How's it going, guys? Donovan here. Today's video, we're taking out the RT, so I need to move mom's car. We're taking out the RT, and I'm finally putting new tires on it. So we're taking it out to Maintenance Pros out in Upland, California, getting new tires on it, getting it aligned. So let's go do that. So get that cold start on mom's car, and then the cold start on the RT. Now here's the thing, it's like 9 a.m. and it's already probably 90 outside, so hopefully mom's car isn't too loud and you can actually hear this thing. So I just pulled in Maintenance Pros. Probably have to sit. Looks like they're pretty busy today, so get a couple cars in. I brought my laptop so I gotta join some meetings while I'm waiting here for the car. But so I actually ordered a whole set of Nitto NT555 G2s. So not their NT05s or NT555 R2s. For a couple of reasons. I know they're not the best tire, but I'll explain that a little bit later. So they already got the car up. I'm trying to stay out of their way a little bit. Here are the tires. So for the fronts, I did 255 45 20s, and then for the rears I just did 275 40 20s. And you'll actually notice on the car, like my front tires are fine, my rear tires are getting pretty dead on the inside. Actually, one of the reasons I decided to just go opt for some new tires is because they're at least 6 years old. Even if tires get old but their tread looks okay, you have to replace them because the rubber dries out and they become unsafe. So if you guys have old tires on your car, take a look at the manufacturing date. Make sure that you verify the life of the tire in terms of how old it is as well, because if it dries out, basically you guys know what happened to Paul Walker. So here's the NT555 G2s. I know they're not the best hooking tires. One improvement is that I currently have Toyo Proxys 4 Pluses on the car. They were all season tires, so of course performance wasn't great. I could punch it from 45 with these tires and it would spin, but the point wasn't for best performance, it was mostly for a good all-around tire that lasted a long time. And these lasted roughly 29,000 miles with me driving around like an asshole. So these are summer tires, so these won't last as long. They'll hook a little better, but not great. The idea is I have my drag radials for when I race the car. I have the Mickey Thompson ET Street Rs. There's no reason for me to drive around a super sticky tire every day. That's why I just opted for these guys. So with that being said, they're gonna take these tires off, get these ones mounted on the wheels, and align the car, and we should be all good to go. So as you guys can see, a little better lighting, this back tire smooth like my brain on this inside here. So the Chargers, they kind of, even though this car when it was last aligned was like in spec, they still sit with a little camber, like wheel inward, which is decent for handling but not for tire wear. So you can see it's even cracking a little bit, so it probably wasn't super safe for me to drive this. Other side's even worse. I don't want to get in their way, so I'm going to stand back and just kind of zoom in on it, but it was time. So you'll see over there too, they got a 720S, and if I raise my hand above, GT3. I love the wheel color on the 720S. That was actually the kind of color I was thinking of getting my wheels powder coated. I just ended up not doing it because the powder coating was going to be like $400-ish, which is a really good price, but I wanted to use the $400 to do something else to the Hellcat. So you'll actually see these wheels are in pretty bad shape. There's nicks. The other wheel on the driver's side rear is actually the one that I curbed like a couple months ago. Completely my fault. So these wheels do need to be fixed, but that's something we will get to in the future. I'm using the money for Hellcat mods. I ended up not filming the car while it was getting aligned, as you can see. Hellcat right there. So the new tires are on. One thing I like about these tires is the tread wear looks cooler. Did I say tread wear before? I meant tread pattern. My apologies. And maybe that's because I'm just not used to seeing tread on the tires, because like, especially at the back, right? Like you have these thicker tires. From what I understand from like what B Mason has said, if you guys, Mopar guys know who B Mason is, the Nittos tend to run a little wider than other brands of tires. So like I noticed that this tire looks a little thicker on the wheel than mine did before. By the way, this is also the wheel that I curved a little bit. I don't know if I've actually showed you guys this, but you can see the damage here. This damage was actually from the tow truck. When they strapped it down, it like rubbed off the finish on the wheel. So these wheels have seen better days, by the way. But in terms of the tires, they look good. It's definitely an improvement over the Toyo all seasons that I had, obviously, because these are summer tires. I'm gonna do a full review on them once. I've only driven the car like probably 15 miles with these tires on. Generally, you want to let them go through a few heat cycles before you start like beating on them, I believe. So what I'm gonna do is put a couple more miles on them, maybe write a review on them. I've already noticed that the car handles way better because these cars, the suspension feels a little floaty when you get too bald in your back tires. Like the back starts to pull on freeway grooves and stuff. Like if the freeway has those lines in it, it'll like one side will follow the lines and the other side will follow the other lines, which happens a lot on these terrible California freeways that are like always under construction. So the car's already better at not doing that. It actually, in my opinion, with these tires and my upgraded shocks from Eibach, to be completely honest, I think it handles better than the Hellcat. It stays straighter than the Hellcat too, and that's probably because I need to tighten a few things up on the Hellcat, just kind of refresh it. It only has like, it doesn't have that many miles. They actually have the same amount of miles, but obviously this one has, you know, brand new suspension components and lowering springs. This car sits, you know, considerably lower than the wide bodies. But with that being said, the new tires are on, car is aligned, couple of heat cycles in them. See how they do, you know, handling. Might even take it to a track day with these NT555 G2s and see how it does. For actual like drag strip days, I have the Nittos, which these are actually low on tread too, and I'll need to replace them soon. But these are just my street tires that are a little more performance oriented than the all seasons that I had before.